Welcome to the Now or Never show. I am your host, Kimberly Trapani. It is my pleasure to introduce Taylor Calhoun, band manager for Symmetrical Defiance, and welcome, Josh Frankie.
Hello.
How's it going?
We're gearing up. It's exciting. I've been telling everybody you have an event tonight. Do you want to talk about it?
Yes, we're coming to you live from the L in Elmira. We've got some really kick-ass bands here tonight. It's such an honor to be breaking new ground here and hanging out with these guys. We have our brothers from Otherworldly Entity. We have our friends in Abstantia. We have the amazing Bound and Quartered, and it's going to be just an incredible time tonight. So if anyone's in the area looking for something to do, come on down, come see me. I love new friends.
Yeah, they're sound checking out right now.
As you can hear, we're going to be a little loud tonight.
You're at the pit, right?
We're at the pit,
Yep.
yes.
Where's the address?
It's 116 Breezeport Road, Horseheads, New York.
How'd you get involved in music? Posing question to Josh first, and Taylor, I've had you on before. You've been a band manager. Josh, how did you get your start?
Well, I come from a musical family and a musical background, so it's just kind of I grew up with music and bands and stuff like that. When I started like really listening to like heavier stuff and what my dad showed me, my uncle introduced me to like Metallica, Slayer, a bunch of heavier bands from the '80s, and then it just kind of grew from there. And I went to the '90s and saw like bands like Cold Chamber, Korn, Mudvayne, and it just kept getting heavier and heavier from there. And eventually, I found my way into death metal and Cannibal Corpse and stuff like that. And I just started appreciating more and more of the heavier side of music and the versatility within music. And I was finding different things within certain genres and everything that were crossing over and how they played, what they did. So it just kind of intrigued me that way. And then I was like, what would be really cool is if I could start playing drums. So I started playing drums first. And then I was like, what would be even better if I learned bass. And then I learned bass guitar. And then I was like, what would be even better if I learned a little bit of guitar. So then I learned some guitaring. Then I was like, I really want to be a frontman. And I can thank that to Anders Fjorden from In Flames, because he was a big part of why I became a frontman. I'm a big In Flames fan. So when I heard him for the first time, I was like, that's what I want to do. So, yeah.
Taylor, how did you meet Symmetrical Defiance, and how did you get your start managing a band?
So it's really funny, actually. One of my best friends is the drummer of Symmetrical Defiance. We will meet him in a few minutes. I'm going to take you guys inside and introduce you to everybody here. He came to me one day and he, like I said, Tay, he's like, I need somebody that knows business. I need somebody that can sell our product. I need somebody that kind of knows how to operate in a fast-paced environment. I was like, yeah, well, all right, whatever. I'll go be a roadie. Cool. So they found out that I'm actually more savvy than just selling shirts. And this one threw me to the wolves one day and goes, you know what? Here, try your hand at this. And just kind of been rolling with it since and growing and kind of devouring the path along the way.
That's super awesome. And you, heavy metal band, I think of all of the history of the heavy metal bands, and you mentioned some of them in the lineup. How do you not get laryngitis when you're singing heavy metal?
Well, it's a good question. I laugh because it's kind of like the same as asking a singer or an opera singer how they don't lose their voice when they're doing their stuff. It's kind of the same mechanics. You got to know what you're doing. Practice. Warm-ups are essential. The same warm-ups that you or a classical trained singer would do is what I do. With a little bit more variation on it to kind of get your mouth moving a little bit more and it's more stretched out. So it's very taking care of yourself orally, oral hygiene, taking care of yourself without talking a lot or very loudly when you're going to be doing shows and stuff like that to really make sure that your voice isn't strained too much before you go out to your set.
When I used to sing as a child, I trained on Italian opera, and I didn't understand a word coming out of my mouth, but we sucked raw eggs to keep our voices. Is there any techniques you can tell us about that you do on a regimen as a band on how to practice and how to keep your voice and tune your guitars? What tips would you have for our audience?
I mean, for me personally, I do a lot of hydrating. I hydrate like crazy. The day before, the day of, and the day after. I drink tea with honey in it usually, lukewarm tea. Um, and then for breathing exercises, the most common one I'll do is like breathing through a straw, which is in long breaths and everything like that. So you pretend you have a straw in your mouth and you breathe through it, which helps get your lung capacity to stretch the right way. The same thing with your diaphragm. It makes sure that your diaphragm stays in check because you have to use your diaphragm when you're doing that. Going through scales, starting at low and working my way up to the highest and then working my way back down. And just being aware that, the muscles in here, you're not really using. A lot of misconception with screaming is that it comes from your throat. It doesn't. It actually comes from your nasal folds up here, which are going like rapid pace, which is creating that distortion, if you will. So it's a lot of airflow over those that make it go crazy. So you want to have those, and I hate this word, but as moist as possible. So you really have to make sure that they're all, pretty wet and not mucusy, because that'll totally destroy everything you're trying to do.
So tell me, before we get into the event with the non-for-profit, tell me a little history on your band.
Well, SD started basically guys? Like a. This is our guitarist Rex, who just popped in.
Oh, what? No way.
This is Rex here, McGee.
Hello.
This is Kim with the Now or Never show. You are live.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so now you're part of it.
Kimberly Trapani.
What's that?
Kimberly Trapani, who's your drummer?
This is
your guitarist?
This is our guitarist.
Yeah, I'm a guitarist.
This is our guitarist Rex.
Mostly just the Whitley Waves.
It's nice to meet you. You're live.
It's nice to meet you as well. My name is Rex Xavier. What's yours? Kimberly. Nice to meet you.
Tell me a little bit about your band, the history of your band.
I'll let you take that.
Okay, I'll do it. So SD started a while ago, and actually in a pole barn. I was out of work and out of everything, and I didn't have a band at the time. I just got out of a serious band, so then I was literally just putting in ads out and stuff like that, and they contacted me, and then it started out just being a jam type of thing, and then it slowly became more and more. The members have since changed drastically. I'm the only original quote-unquote member that they had in the band. And then once everyone dropped out, I just basically, Rex joined the band. A new drummer, G, joined the band at the time, and it just kept going from there and growing. We had a couple of lineup changes, and then we finally have a lineup that I think has been around for what? Finally, the last member was added. When did John find?
Well, the last member.
Oh, it was Ryan. So Ryan is our newest guitarist that we just hired on, and he has been a couple months, roughly a couple months, and he's 2 shows. This is the second show. Second show, deep.
Second show, deep.
Yeah, and he's phenomenal. So
I gotta ask, how do fans?
Oh, that's my bassist.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Trapani. We're live.
Oh, excellent. I'm John, the bass player.
John, it's nice to meet you. It's so
and this
awesome.
And this is Ryan, our newest member over here, off camera. That's Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. So excited to have you on the Now or Never show, and we are live on the Now or Never show, plugging Symmetrical Defiance. It's super cool. They're performing tonight. It's so awesome. And tell me a little bit about how should your audience, business etiquette, entertainment etiquette, how should they act around you?
Normally,
Down to earth.
Just like any other people, really. I mean, we're just everyday people that just like music and learn how to play instruments and do our thing. So it's literally just like, just be yourselves.
Do they scream in your ear? Should they ask you for your autographs? Can you go into details like that?
I love all of that. Scream in my ear, ask me for my autograph, take a picture with me. I'll give you some guitar picks.
Yeah.
I'll steal some of Evan's drumsticks, broken or not. Throw them out to the crowd. Like, who cares?
We do.
Like, it's
We
great.
do that. We're all about the fans, but there's also a time and a place too. Like, you have to have respect to appreciate that these gentlemen have personal lives as well. And that at the same time, although they do love their craft, they don't need to be mobbed for it, like in the case of Eminem.
Awesome. And can you tell me a little bit about what goes into playing and syncing it correctly, and how all the instruments sync together to create sound and bass and chords? Tell me a little bit about that. How do you operate as a band and make it sound so amazing?
Wow. I mean, I guess I'll take the reins on this one. A lot of it is just it's really organic. I mean, a lot of our songwriting recently has been just jamming in the studio with everybody in the room, deciding if the vibe fits or not, if it sounds good or not. Just demoing a bunch of riffs that we've written, Ryan and I, and trading them back and forth and spicing them up or taking a little bit back if it's too much, like riff salad. And yeah, just really locking in and getting the vibe right. Really, that's all it really goes into it.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful process. It's fantastic.
Yeah, where most people actually like sit down and like write drums first on like a drum program, and then they'll jam to it, and then they'll come up with, you know, guitaring or a basis of a melody or a basis of their guitar riff, and then they'll go from there and they'll keep building like that. We don't do that at all. Like it's so weird how our songs come about. Most of the time it's just basically it's a jam, and then we're like, hey, this part of that song really stuck, so let's do something with that part, and then just sit down and keep jamming it. And like Rex said,
Right.
him, John, Ryan, will all start like jamming out and trying to figure out chord progressions and stuff. That's our drum monkey who just walked by.
Yeah, you're live.
Yeah, you're a live interview. Good luck. Good job. That's Evan.
Hey, I'm Kimberly Trapani.
Hey, why don't you explain the songwriting process? Buddy?
Yeah, you wanna? That's what we're doing right now.
Yes, you're live on air. Symmetrical Defiance. We have the entire band. They are playing at the pit tonight. You got to get your tickets. It's tonight. And we went over that before, and we're just chatting, and you're live on air, on stream, and we're talking a little bit about how to treat an entertainer, business etiquette. And Taylor's going to tell us a little bit after commercial about the non-for-profit incident. But why I have the band, do you want to give us a tour?
Yep, Taylor will take you on it.
Well, I'll bring you inside, but I also brought some people to meet you as well.
Okay, perfect.
Introduce yourself. Introduce who you are, where you're from, what you do.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Trapani. You're on the Now or Never show.
Live too.
Live.
Yep. So go ahead, do it again.
We're from Bound and Quartered. Well, part of us. There's a couple missing, but we're located out of like Rochester area.
Welcome on the Now or Never show. Are you near Henrietta? That's where my cousin lives.
More towards like the Lions area.
Okay. And what
That's
is
where
your
we
name?
track.
Bound and Quartered.
Awesome. It's a pleasure to meet you. And what do you do?
I'm the guitar player.
I play drums.
I'm the bassist, Mackenzie.
It's a pleasure. And what goes into practicing to deliver an amazing sound?
I didn't quite hear the question.
What was the beginning part of that? I'm sorry.
What goes into practicing and to deliver an amazing sound?
Honestly, for me, and I think this goes for the rest of the group, honestly, trying to the point of failure and understanding that the next time you go to practice, it just comes out of nowhere to be easier for you. That's at least what I've noticed. I like to say I'm like, at least like personally wise, I'm probably half the drummer I was last year around August. And 8-hour practices on Saturdays really go far with us. So
How do we get tickets tonight?
There's a link online
Yep.
for e-tickets.
Yep. There's e-tickets online, or we're taking Cash App and Venmo, I guess, upon doors opening, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, $12, I think,
Yep.
for tonight. Plenty of good metal bands. I wouldn't miss it, honestly. I know a lot of people aren't doing something on a Saturday night. It's a good time.
Absolutely and definitely. And can you tell me a little bit about how you all get along?
The band family, we like to call it.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
pretty much. We eat together, cry together. We pretty much get everything off our chest together. And, at the end of the day, like after a set on stage, just giving each other that look of like, hell yeah, like this was all worth it kind of feeling, like just to be on stage and everything. It's really what we strive. We really get along actually well. I always like to say a band is like a relationship just with, 4 or 5, 3 other people. And sometimes one can be enough, oh, I'm not in the camera really. So yeah, that's we've known each other for quite a while as well, going date back to like 2015 pretty much. So yeah, we get along great.
How many hours a week does it take to practice?
Personally, about 2 hours a day, and but every Saturday we have about 4 to 8 hour practices, or we also do Discord practices, so that's like another couple hours during the week.
And do you ever shut it off, or are you always working?
If basically always working, honestly. Yeah.
Perfect. That's so amazing. And how did you get your start in music?
Go first.
How'd you get your start?
Well, my dad was actually a musician, and I used to go to his shows all the time. He was a bass player, and in 2008 he passed away. So I decided that I was gonna take in the reins and start playing bass, and I joined my first band, Corrosive Impact. So that's what got me into music.
Is music very therapeutic for you in the grieving process and that kind of thing?
Sure. Yeah, yep. I eat, sleep, and breathe music. So
absolutely. And we're gonna go to commercial break. But when we come back, we're gonna take the tour inside and talk with Taylor about her non-for-profit story. Stay tuned.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
They can see.
Hello, my name is Maria Perez. I am from San Antonio, Texas. 34 years ago, I was a victim of human trafficking.
Hello, I'm Brian Shreve from Texas. As a previous probation parole officer who supervised the most violent and repeated sex offenders in Florida and in Texas, human trafficking continues to this day as one of the most heinous crimes of modern day society.
I'm Kimberly Trapani, all-consuming film.
Right now, traffics are robbing a staggering 24.9 million people of their freedom and basic human dignity. That's roughly 3 times the population of New York City.
They can see.
We're live on the Now or Never show, and I am your host, Kimberly Trapani, and we are talking with Symmetrical Defiance. They are so gracious to give their time And we have Taylor on right now, who's a business manager, and they are performing tonight. Taylor, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. I know it was a little chaotic, but that's a little behind the scenes glimpse of what actually happens when you get the show family together, and it gets a little hairy. But yeah, no, it's always a wonderful time coming on the show, Kim. Anytime, really. And I appreciate you having us because I have quite the story for you guys.
Yeah, tell me about the non-for-profit. I heard a little bit about that. You were doing a non-profit performance. Can you tell me what happened with that?
Yes, I can. So I wasn't actually the one that was putting it on. It was actually one of my good friends in the music community. And I want to keep her name private to protect her. She asked me to, so I'm just going to leave it at that. She's a really good friend of mine, literally like the most beautiful person I've ever met, energy-wise, you know what I mean? And she just wanted to give back and do this event about empowering women. And she wanted to donate a portion of the proceeds to a women and children's center somewhere in the area. We're just going to kind of leave it kind of vague. And there was nothing but backdoor lies and bullshit through the entire thing. Like we booked the show, we had sound, we had everything all squared away. And the guy turns around and goes, "All right, this is your event. I want nothing to do with it, all this other stuff." 3 days later, he redesigns the flyer for the event. He adds acts onto the event. And then he turns around and cancels the event and goes, "Oh, it's not making enough money."
Oh my God.
So then turns around after we negotiate and have a conversation with them and go, "Listen, people pay the day of. It's an all ages event. They don't need sitters. So that changes things." And so he's like, "All right, fine, whatever. You can have it go on." Cool. So we show up and he goes straight up, "If my regulars don't want to pay the door, they don't have to." No, if you have a door charge and you have somebody running door for an event like that, doesn't matter who you are, you should have notified your regulars and told them that if they come in, there's going to be a charge that night because of X, Y, and Z. And it just kind of like steamrolled from there. But by the end of the night, I looked at the back of the bar and this bartender would not let me charge anybody. I made $20 and there's 600
people, not to interrupt you, walk into a gas station, they don't negotiate the price of milk. If you don't pay for gas before you pump it, you don't get the gas. That's crazy.
Right. And then to turn around and then say, "Oh, we're going to do it this way. We're going to do it this way now. We're going to do it this way now. We're going to do it this way now." No. No, 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 no. We had an agreement at A, and now we're at plan B. I don't appreciate that. There's too many stops that I didn't agree with, and it was just for the fact of the matter too, is like, not only did you take from the nonprofits, but then the very next day, turn around and message these acts and go, "Thank you for donating your time. Thank you for slapping my performers in their face," because that's what you just did. Like, you don't do that. You don't.
Absolutely. And you're giving your time to a non-for-profit. It takes so much time to set up. Most people don't realize. You can tell our audience how long does it take to prep a performance? What goes into prepping?
It depends on where your setup is. So, like, prime example, let me turn you around. Right here at the L, as you can see, we have a stage. If we had to build something like that, that's going to add on more time. When we come in here to a stage, that's cool. But at the same time, did this place have sound? I don't know. It's not my event to run. So if I had to run sound, that's going to add on a couple of hours. That's going to change things. And a lot of these events, depending on who's playing, it requires massive amounts of equipment. It's not just a little speaker that you see in your house. Some of these speakers weigh upwards of 200-300 pounds or more.
Absolutely. And what it takes to go into prepping that, you have to take the equipment and load it into a truck and bring it to a location, correct?
Yeah.
And what's the cost of a speaker? Approximately, just one.
It really, It really varies. Honestly, it depends on where we go. Like today, prime example, we're based in Rome, New York, and I'm so happy to be at the L. But this is almost 2.5, almost 3 hours away from home base. So a couple of these shows kind of do add up. So when you're taking away from your artists and you're stealing from them, or you're dipping in the pot, or you're taking their merch sales or something like that, you're making it so they can't do shows 3 hours away. You're making it so they can't have a career. You're making it so none of that stuff can happen. And that's completely unacceptable. And I'm tired of this industry stealing from people like us and treating us like we should be honored to play in your venue. No, we have other people.
Absolutely. And you travel to other states and things, correct? And
Oh, yeah.
so
That's fun.
what would you say when you're doing it, when you did the nonprofit, were you um were you giving how much of a percentage of profits was that nonprofit gonna make from you?
So the original arrangement was whatever we made off of door, 100% of door was going to go to the nonprofit on our end. And their bar was going to give, I can't remember the exact percentage of it, a portion of their proceeds off of sales after they checked that out and everything like that. I think it was like 15% or something, which was awesome. Like we were totally okay with that. But the problem is none of that happened. And this happens all the time. Like I'm done.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're going in, you're setting up sound equipment. Your band, we discussed this earlier, is rehearsing and prepping for a show. And you have expensive equipment that is worth thousands and thousands of dollars that you have to move from point A to point B. You have to hire those people. You have to hire the catering and the food. And for people to go through a door and expect something for free, correct?
Pretty much. And it was just the fact too, like this was a female empowerment event. I don't want to be that person that whines, but it was like a slap in the face that we're supposed to be women building each other up. And it was a woman that stole at the end of the day. It was a woman that stood in the way of that.
Right.
So now I'm more mad because now I'm like, all right, you make no sense to me. As a woman, I can't respect you and you make no sense to me.
Do you want to tell us the organization, or do we need to leave that confidential?
I think we're going to leave that confidential for now just to
Okay.
protect the identities of the performers that were there that do not want to be publicly involved. And I respect them for it. They got a lot going on in their own careers. So, it's a big decision to run your mouth like I am. I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash. I'm well known in this community. This is probably going to be a problem, but you know what? Somebody needs to say it. It's old.
Absolutely. And stealing from artists that are actually giving to non-for-profits. I've been there, done that to you, and it's not cool, folks. What messages would you have for our community of local artists? What messages would you have for your fans about giving in the future to artists and then doing nonprofit events?
So, not just for nonprofit events, just events in general, get a contract, do a rider that basically says, like, if you cancel the event or you do anything like that, you're automatically going to be charged this. This is the agreeance. So we agreed, let's say we go old school and I get the door, you get bar, and then I bring my own staff and security. You just need to provide bartenders. Boom, 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 done. Write that down in that contract. And if a business is serious about doing business with you, they'll sign that contract.
Absolutely. And when I went to Full Sail University, the college with a few Oscars, they have like 14. We learned, I was pitching to the choir about getting everything in writing. Do you agree, Taylor?
Yes. Yes, and I save conversations. Like everything to me is a receipt because you never know at the end of the day what you need to lean on. So like I guess if I have any message to anybody, if you're doing business with me, be very careful because I do save those conversations. I do save these things. And I know everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes, but those aren't mistakes. That's just bad character. And I don't tolerate that.
Absolutely. And when we're trying to do something good as artists, and artists get a lot of cutthroat comments, we understand that we have to be thick skinned in the public eye. We understand that we get cutthroat about, oh, well, we're all rich and we're pretentious and that kind of thing. We get that. But at the end of the day, us artists are the ones that have been helping people together in New York State on confronting the overdose crisis. I've been doing it for 5 years with Academy Award winners. We're giving back to the communities. We're sending positive messages about not doing illegal drugs and helping human trafficking and child sex crimes. So we are banding together as one to send your messages and that kind of thing.
Can I?
Yeah.
These are my brothers. I talk about them all the time. Well, I got part of them. And then I have the lovely Riza. This is John and Zlako and Riza from Otherworldly Entity.
Hi.
It's nice to meet you. You're live on the Now or Never show.
This is Kim, guys.
Hi, Kim.
Hey, Kim. You want to tell them about yourself?
Are you enjoying your day?
Yes, we just took a nice walk down by the stream. It's beautiful.
Oh, that's fabulous. What's going on tonight?
Well, obviously we're playing a show. So we just went to Squatch Den Records in Elmira Heights. We did an acoustic set over there. And now we're here doing an electric set at the L.
That's fabulous. We're so excited. And
we got to handpick the bands for this show, which made it really fun.
Do you want to give us your 2-minute pitch
Of what? Of us?
of what's
Or
going
the
on
show?
tonight?
Oh, the show. Well, so obviously this is the L, and it's a great, really modern venue. We play a lot of older venues, so playing something that's really modern and edgy like this is really nice. There's also a country show going on at the same time, so it'll be fun to scare some country people.
Is this an old church, by the way?
Yes, it is.
That is incredible.
So
I
the
just
L
noticed that.
apparently stands for Lutheran.
The Lutheran.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, we've played here once before. We had so much fun playing that we were like, we have to come back. And when Symmetrical reached out to us and went, we want to do a show, I was like, let's get the L. Yeah. So we contacted Adam here at the L and said,
this is so exciting.
Yep. And then we picked Absentia and Bound and Quartered because we played with them before. We've always had so much fun, and they put on such a good set that we were like, let's kind of make this like superpower show.
And
Very
they're doing
exciting.
sound checks right now. We did ours, and everything sounds really good. You're gonna stream the whole show.
Are we?
Well,
Can I Facebook Live it too?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Is that legal? Because I illegally put
My
your
lawyer's
song.
on vacation. It's
I
fine.
illegally put your song in the interview. I didn't realize it. I'm sorry.
My lawyer's on vacation and not on retainer. So.
Oh, thank God he's not on retainer. I'm sorry.
How are we seeing this live stream?
On Facebook. I will have it on my Facebook. On Symmetrical Defiance is actually probably so Symmetrical Defiance on Facebook, and then I don't know what your tag is.
We're Otherworldly Entity.
Just Otherworldly Entity on Facebook.
Yeah. Surprisingly, that name wasn't taken.
Really?
Perfect. And if you tag me, I will share it as well.
Yes.
And we're helping people together all around the world, us artists together, sending positive messages. We're super excited about the show tonight and super excited that you are playing in Elmira, New York, upstate. Go out there. It's live. What time are we kicking off?
So the show starts at 7 with Absentia.
Perfect.
Yeah, doors at 6.
Exciting.
And it's at
news.
Horseheads, New York. It's actually the L is at Horseheads, down at Horseheads, New York.
Was I lying
It's
this
right
whole
near
time?
Elmira.
It's
right
it's
by
next to
Elmira.
Elmira.
Oh, it's one of those share
Yeah,
the postal
it's- yeah,
codes. Okay.
exactly.
Perfect. And I put it up on my Facebook. It's out on every platform that you are live tonight at 7 and the doors open at 6. You can get your tickets online or at the door. Anything else you want to tell our audience?
No, just have fun. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. That's life.
Enjoy music. That's it.
Yeah.
It's all about the music and the show.
Absolutely.
And about the hang, too. All these people are good friends, so it's really nice to catch up with everybody.
It's very exciting to be in a room together with a bunch of artists. It's very exciting that us artists are helping people together around the world, sending positive messages. Go out there, see these bands. They're amazing. And we talked about how artistic venues, art music is art, but it's very therapeutic. It helps the brain on multiple levels. Any last words before we wrap?
No, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for coming on the Now or Never show. And Taylor, you're amazing. Any last words, Taylor?
No, not really.
That
Thank
was
you.
just like-
Thank you for having us, and thank you for giving us the exposure.
Thank you so much. And I hope you're well and be safe. And
You're welcome.
we'll enjoy the show with you.
Yes, definitely. Like I said, look for those live streams. I can't talk now. On Otherworldly Entities Facebook and Symmetrical Defiance's Facebook. We'll tag you in them, and you can catch some of the nonsense we're going to cause here tonight, if you will.
Awesome. So exciting. Thanks, Taylor. You're amazing.
Thank you, Kim. You take care and stay safe.
You too.
Bye-bye now.